Part A questions 1 to 12. Algae. Algae is a primitive form of life, a single-celled or simple multiple-celled organism that is able to conduct the process of photosynthesis. It is generally found in water but can also be found elsewhere, growing on such surfaces as rocks or trees. The various types of algae are classified according to their pigmentation, or coloration. Blue-green algae, or cyanophila, can grow at very high temperatures and under high-intensity light. This is a microscopic type of algae, and some species consist of only one cell. Blue-green algae is the oldest form of life with photosynthetic capabilities, and fossilized remains of this type of algae more than 3.4 billion years old have been found in parts of Africa. Green algae, or chlorophyta, is generally found in fresh water. It reproduces on the surfaces of enclosed bodies of water such as ponds or lakes and has the appearance of a fuzzy green coating on the water. In large quantities, this type of algae may reproduce enough to give a green color to an entire lake. Brown algae, or phaeophyta, grows in shallow, temperate water. This type of algae is the largest in size and is most recognizable as a type of seaweed. Kelp is a type of brown algae that has grown to lengths of up to 200 feet. Its long stalks can be enmeshed on the ocean floor, or it can float freely on the ocean's surface. Red algae, or rhodophyta, is a small, delicate organism found in the deep waters of the subtropics, where it often grows with coral. This type of algae has an essential role in the formation of coral reefs. It secretes lime from the seawater to foster the formation of limestone deposits. Part B questions 13 to 21. Narcolepsy is a disease characterized by malfunctioning sleep mechanics. It can consist of a sudden and uncontrollable bout of sleep during daylight hours and disturbed sleep during nighttime hours. It occurs more often in men than in women, and it commonly makes its appearance during line adolescence or young adulthood. At least 500,000 Americans are believed to be affected by 5. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy can take a number of forms during daylight hours. One common symptom of the disease during daytime hours is a sudden attack of REM, rapid eye movement, sleep during normal waking hours. This occurs in some people hundreds of times in a single day, while others only have rare occurrences. During a sleep attack, narcoleptics may experience automatic behavior, even 10, though asleep, they may continue automatically performing the activity they were involved in prior to falling asleep. They may, for example, continue walking, or driving, or stirring a pot until the activity is interrupted by external forces. Others experience cataplexy during daytime hours. Cataplexy involves a sudden loss of muscle tone that may cause the head to droop or the knees to wobble in minor attacks or a total collapse in more serious attacks. Cataplexy seems to occur most often in 15. Conjunction with intense emotion or excitement. During sleep hours, narcolepsy can also manifest itself in a variety of ways. During the transitional phase that precedes the onset of sleep, it is common for hallucinations to occur. These hallucinations, known as hypnagogic phenomena, consist of realistic perceptions of sights and sounds during the semi-conscious state between wakefulness and sleep. Narcoleptics may also suffer 20. From night wakening during sleep, resulting in extremely fragmented and restless sleep. Then, upon waking, a narcoleptic may experience sleep paralysis, the inability to move, perhaps for several minutes, immediately after waking. Part C questions 22 to 30. Whereas literature in the first half of the 18th century in America had been largely religious and moral in tone, by the latter half of the century the revolutionary fervor that was coming to life in the colonies began to be reflected in the literature of the time, which in turn served to further influence the population. Although not all writers of this period supported the revolution, the two best known and most influential writers, Ben Franklin and Thomas Paine, were both strongly supportive of that cause. Ben Franklin first attained popular success through his writings in his brother's newspaper, the New England Courant. In these articles he used a simple style of language and common-sense argumentation to defend the point of view of the farmer and the leather-apron man. He continued with the same common-sense practicality and appeal to the common man with his work on Poor Richard's Almanac from 1733 until 1758. Firmly established in his popular acceptance by the people, Franklin wrote a variety of extremely effective articles and pamphlets about the colonists' revolutionary cause against England. Thomas Paine was an Englishman working as a magazine editor in Philadelphia at the time of the Revolution. His pamphlet Common Sense, which appeared in 1776, was a force in encouraging the colonists to declare their independence from England. Then throughout the long and desperate war years he published a series of crisis papers, from 1776 until 1783, to encourage the colonists to continue on with the struggle. The effectiveness of his writing was probably due to his emotional yet oversimplified depiction of the cause of the colonists against England as a classic struggle of good and evil. Part D Questions 31 to 41 Federal Express FedEx Federal Express is a company that specializes in rapid overnight delivery of high-priority packages. The first company of its type, Federal Express, was founded by the youthful Fred Smith in 1971, when he was only 28 years old. Smith had actually developed the idea for the rapid delivery line service in a term paper for an economics class when he was a student at Yale University. The term, 5, paper reputedly received a less than stellar grade because of the infeasibility of the project that Smith had outlined. The model that Smith proposed had never been tried. It was a model that was efficient to operate but at the same time was very difficult to institute. Smith achieved efficiency in his model by designing a system that was separate from the passenger system and could, therefore, focus on how to deliver packages most efficiently. His strategy, 10, was to own his own planes so that he could create his own schedules and to ship all packages through the hub city of Memphis, a setup which resembles the spokes on the wheel of a bicycle. With this combination of his own planes and hub setup, he could get packages anywhere in the United States overnight. What made Smith's idea difficult to institute was the fact that the entire system had to be, 15, created before the company could begin operations. He needed a fleet of aircraft to collect packages from airports every night and deliver them to Memphis, where they were immediately sorted and flown out to their new destinations. He needed a fleet of trucks to deliver packages to and from the various airports. He needed facilities and trained staff all in place to handle the operation. Smith had a $4 million inheritance from his father, and he managed to raise an additional $91 million, 20, from venture capitalists to get the company operating when Federal Express began service in 1973 in 25 cities. The company was not an immediate success, but success did come within a relatively short period of time. The company lost $29 million in the first 26 months of operations. However, the tide was to turn relatively quickly. By late 1976, Federal Express was carrying an average of 19,000 packages per night and had made a profit of $3.60, 25 million. Part E Questions 42 to 50 The Cullinan diamond, perhaps better known than the Cullinan diamond, is the Hope diamond, a valuable and rare blue gem with a background of more than 300 years as a world traveler. The 112-carat blue stone that later became the Hope diamond was mined in India sometime before the middle of the 17th century and was first known to be owned by Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal in memory of his 5 beloved wife. From India, the celebrated blue stone has changed hands often, moving from location to location in distant corners of the world. In the middle of the 17th century, a trader from France named Jean-Baptiste Tavernier acquired the large blue diamond, which was rumored to have been illegally removed from a temple. Tavernier returned to France with the big blue gem, where the stone was purchased by the Sun King, Louis XIV. Louis XIV had it cut down from 112 to 67 carats to make its shape symmetrical and to maximize its sparkle. The newly cut diamond, still huge by any standards, was passed down through the royal family of France, until it arrived in the hands of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. During the French Revolution, Louis XVI and his wife met their fate on the guillotine in 1793, and the big blue diamond disappeared from public sight. 15. The diamond somehow managed to get from France to England, where banker Henry Hope purchased it from a gem dealer early in the 19th century. The huge blue stone was cut into a 45.5-carat oval, and at this point it took on the name by which it is known today. The diamond stayed in the Hope family for around a century, when deep indebtedness brought on by a serious gambling habit on the part of one of Henry Hope's heirs forced the sale of the diamond. 20. From England, the Hope diamond may have made its way into the hands of the Sultan of Turkey. Whatever route it took to get there, it eventually went on to the United States when Atherican Evelyn Walsh McLean purchased it in 1911. Mrs. McLean certainly enjoyed showing the diamond off. Guests in her home were sometimes astounded to notice the huge stone embellishing the neck of Mrs. McLean's Great Dane as the huge pet trotted around the grounds of her Washington, D.C. home. The 25 Hope diamond later became the property of jeweler Harry Winston, who presented the stunning 45.5-carat piece to the Smiths and Jan in 1958. The Hope diamond is now taking a well-earned rest following its rigorous travel itinerary and is on display at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., where it has been since 1958.